Good to be back. This is the third time I've done this, and it's always such a huge privilege. It's the first non-drag racer I've done this for, so that's cool. I was an impressionable 11 when my dad was hired as Dean of Students at Methodist College at Fayetteville, and that meant he was constantly, he had to be at all functions in case somebody acted up. He had to have a few words with them on the side. But that also meant going to all the basketball games. And at that time, I acquired my first sports hero, which was Jim Gardner. And I say that because the guy was a complete competitor and a complete student in the classroom as well. And I just kind of thought about that today, Jim, and that's really why my dad admired you, because you optimized what you had physically on the basketball court, but more importantly, you used your brain in the classroom and continued to do that. He was very a big admirer of yours. When Jim started at Methodist, it was only the third year of what was then called the Dixie Conference. So it's been 57, 58 years since then. In that time, only one other person besides Jim has been a 4-year first-team all-conference basketball player. And the other amazing thing about that is he played on 3 losing teams when he was at Methodist. The last year, they finished 13-9, something like that, 13-8, won a conference championship. All these many years later, Jim, as you've probably seen in the bulletin, still 4th in career scoring. Still 4th in career scoring average for a career, 18.3. 3rd in the number of field goals made. 1st in free throws made for a 6'5" player. And there weren't many 6'5" guys around playing NAIA basketball at the time. The number 2 guy is 125 free throws behind him all these many years later. And Jim had the benefit of a 3-point shot, didn't he? I don't know if he shot it anyway. He probably didn't shoot outside the paint, did you? He's also still 1st in career rebounds at Methodist. 253 more than the next guy. The man cleaned the board, y'all. In 1966, there were 8 teams in the conference at that time. They played, if you got to the championship game, you played 3 games. Jim still holds the conference tournament record for most rebounds in a tournament at 58, and he did it in 2 games. Y'all can do the math. That's impressive. I looked up a little bit, I kind of wondered how that could happen, so I looked up a little math on it today. Lynchburg's best player was a guy who's going to shoot it all the time. He took 40 shots. He missed 22 of them. So that probably had a lot to do with Jim's rebounding totals for the night. But it was after that Jim pursued his master's degree at Duke. He got into botany, he headed up the horticulture program at Sampson Community College. He got big into genealogy and has traced my family line back to, I don't know how many great-great-grandfathers, but it's Charlemagne and some dude named Charles the Hammer that you ought to look up on Wikipedia when you get home. Charles the Hammer was the baddest dude you've ever heard of. Jim, not many people I would put a suit on for, but you're one of them. And I'm very grateful for the impact that you made on me and my little brother. That's guys who used to sit in the stands and admire you. And if you saw on the slideshow, corrugated metal walls, and a backboard that was made out of board, it wasn't glass. That's what Jim and those guys played on the Methodist. They played on a tile floor in a metal building that was often referred to in the Federal Observer as the biggest two-car garage in Cumberland County. And if you think Cameron Indoor Stadium or any other place had a home court advantage, you ain't been to the two-car gym in Methodist. Because there were more than one night that the referees had to stop a game and get me and a whole lot of other people from jamming our elbows into the walls and shaking the goal when the other team was shooting free throws. We gave him a home court advantage, but he didn't need a whole lot of help. Jim, congratulations. Come on up, sir.
Came prepared with a 3-minute speech, a 6-minute speech, and a 10-minute speech. And then somebody told me, well, can you get it as short as Bobby Warren? I said, how short was his? They said 2 minutes. I said, well, maybe I can call my 3-minute speech down just a little bit. It's really an honor to be here. If you look at the back of your program and look at the people who have been here before me, it's just astounding. Terry Holland, Dee Hardison, Bobby Robinson, Bob Lewis, and my great friend Dale Johnson. It's just unbelievable. But I would prefer to be here in front of you tonight representing my family. That means everything to me. My dad played football at Clinton High School, 1936, 7, 8, and 9. And so we started long ago. The very first dark horses were on that team, and it went through my generation, my son's generation, and then finally my grandson, James V, hold your hand up, James, is currently a distance runner at Clinton High School, and a good one. And so we've been around for 4 generations, as best I can tell. We've upheld the dark horse tradition for 86 years. So I think that's rather remarkable. If you look at on my table, you can see a picture of my dad's 1936 baseball team, I believe it is. And there are people on that team, like Tom Turley, Fez Turley, who started this organization, Purcell Jones, who was my boss at Camp Moorhead for 4 summers, his son, Steve Jones, who his grandson just recently was quarterback for the New York Giants. They all came from Clinton. Sumner Eads, people like John Flake, James Furman Honeycutt. We just had a terrific group of people that started our tradition as dark horses. So that was the beginning of our family. Then I came along and played at Clinton High School, and I got to rub elbows with some great people there as well. Tommy Dempsey went on to be an MD, and he went to the UNC and started as a linebacker or halfback, I believe he was. Ed Newman was a tri-captain with me on the Clinton High 1965 team. We beat Lumberton for the conference championship. He went on to Duke and was a linebacker opposite Dick Biddle. Somebody would remember him. He was All-American, I believe. Ricky Packard is here tonight, one of the best athletes I've ever seen in my life. I don't know, where is Ricky? Could you raise your hand? That's, there he is back there. That's a fellow who needs to be in the Hall of Fame for sure. But then I went on to Methodist and enjoyed my 4 years there. The most important thing I ever did was meet this young lady out here. The rest is history. We've had 2 great boys, we've had a lot of grandkids, and I'm just really proud of them. So this is really an honor. Thank you for having me here tonight, and I'll cherish this. Thank you.